All right, in today's lesson, we're going to go through these 7 challenges and introduce some concepts in Python. So the first challenge, it says to take 3 numbers and then sum them up. So we see in this example right here, we've got input. This is the user providing some information. Again, that's by default is a string. We want to cast it as an integer. Then we want to add them together. So to add another value, and this is easy, int of input, and then add that to 3. And what I would say is make sure that when you're in Google Colab or when we're going through any of these challenges that you're running every cell and see what it does. So I run this. I say, I'm going to use the examples it says, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, and 6. And it gives me 11. So that worked as expected. So what have I done? Taken inputs, converted them to integers. So if I were to try again, but instead of a number, I say G, it says, I don't know how to convert a G to an integer. Okay. On this one, I've got my area of a triangle. So 1/2 base times height. So I'm going to do, got my base. I need to do height is equal to, again, int of an input. And then I want to print this out. So I could print 1/2 times base times height, run that, 3, 5, 7.5, that looks great. I could create a variable, area is equal to this information, and then just print out area, right? Print area. It's going to do the same thing, 3, 5, 7.5. So if you choose to do this, I'm going to delete this line here. I've created a variable, I print the variable, or I put it all in one. Either way, it's going to give the same result. Next question says, take some input from a user. In this case, it's going to be a string. And then it's going to say their name with that. If I run it right now, John, doesn't do anything with it. So I need to print, in quotes, hello. Do it like this. Yeah. Plus, and I'm going to make this a little bit clearer for me. A doesn't mean anything as a variable name, so I'm going to say name, hello plus name. When I run this, I'll test it with Sarah. Hello Sarah, that looks like it worked. Plus my exclamation mark. Hello Beth, that looked great. If I wanted to, I could take this space out, comma to separate the two, comma will force a space, same result. Okay. The next one, 1.4, says take a number and then give me the next number and then the previous number. So in this case, my number, print the next number, number plus 1, print the previous number, print number plus minus 1. And I say 45, 46, all right, but now I need it to have this kind of text, and I want to include the number. So in quotes, plus, if I want to incorporate this number, I know that that comma my number gets included and the next one. So I can do the same thing, copy, paste the previous number for the number. Here's my number, is that future number. 179, That looks great. For the next number, for the number 180. Great. If I wanted to add a period, we talked about this in class, right? So I could plus a period. And I run that, I get an error that says I can't combine an integer and a string. So I need to get this, that is an integer, number is an integer, plus an integer to be seen as a string. I do that by wrapping it in string to cast my value as a string. So str, close, plus, period, close parenthesis there. And I've got now my period as a full sentence. That looks great. 1.5 says apple sharing. So in this case, I want to look at the difference between a division, floor division, and the modulus. So when I run just this standard code, 63 divided by 5 is 12.6. 63 floor divided by 5 is 12. 63 mod 5, meaning what is remaining after division of 5. So we know 5 goes into 63 12 times. We know that from our floor division. And then the remaining value is 61, 62, 63, 3. Great. So in our scenario, it says take two items, take the number of people and the number of apples, int of input, and then return how many whole apples people get. So print apples divided by the number of people. Test that code. It said 6 and 50, which give me 8. Great. Now I'll do the same thing. How many apples were remaining? Apples mod people. 6, 15, 8 and 2. That is what I expected based on my stuff here. So again, giving it usable names tells me how many apples am I giving, whole apples am I giving to people, and then how many apples would I be remaining if everyone got a whole apple. Next one says take a time, how many seconds have occurred since midnight. So I want to do how many seconds, and it wants us to return a whole hour. So how many seconds are in an hour? There's 60 seconds in a minute, and there's 60 minutes in an hour. So that should give me that. So 3,900, 1 hour. Okay. Then the other part of this question is how many minutes? So I want to then say how many seconds total were when divided by 60 seconds in a minute. That tells me how many minutes are left, or how many minutes have taken place. 1 in 65. So again, this is the input divided by seconds in an hour. And then the next part was, again, seconds, the input divided by seconds in a minute. And the last one we want to go through today is 2 timestamps. So I can see the order of the timestamps. It's hour, minute, second, hour, minute, second. So in 2 hours, an hour later, and a minute later, and a second later, how much has taken place? An hour, a second, 60, in the, a minute of seconds, 60 plus 1. Great. So to do that, I need to get some timestamps. And the way that I did this in class was, again, thinking about time. I want to do time change is after minus before. So that's how we're going to do that. And our time after is an hour and a minute and a second. And the same thing for the before. To get it all in seconds, I'm going to need this to multiply times the number of seconds in an hour, which we just said was 3,600. I'm going to add this. Again, this is not Python. This is just me kind of writing out how it works. Times 60 plus seconds. Same exact thing here, times 3,600 plus minutes times 60 plus seconds. Another way to think through this could be my hour 2 minus my hour 1, that value, times 3,600 plus my minute 2 minus my minute 1 times 60 plus the change in my time of seconds, 2 minus S1. That's going to give you the result. If I create two timestamps like this, I could just say before and after, print before minus after, print, after minus before. Or print the timestamp 2 minus timestamp 1. So let's do that. Let's create a whole bunch of inputs. In the order we know is hour 1. I'm going to copy this, paste a whole bunch of them, 6. Okay. So my hour, then my min, then my second, then my hour 2, then my min 2, then my second 2. Okay. So if I were to create two timestamps, timestamp 1 is equal to hour 1 times 3,600. This is now proper Python. And min 1 times 60 plus second 1. And then same exact thing, but 2, 2, 2, 2. And I can say print the difference between the two. Print timestamp 2 minus timestamp 1. Let's run it. 1, 2, 30, 1, 3, 20. Should give me a change of 50 seconds. So there's a couple ways to do that, right? So obviously I could do it like this, and this is creating a timestamp variable for each the before and the after, before minus after, after minus before. And then I could also do it how we did right here, right? So if I wanted to combine this, I could just say print my H2 minus H1 times seconds in an hour plus min 2 minus min 1 times 60. And I'm doing the parentheses so that order of operations will allow for me to do this. And then seconds 2 minus seconds in the first time, and I don't need to multiply that. 1, 2, 30, 1, 3, this results. So either of those will work, and it's just about picking the one that you think makes sense to you. If you want to create some, we did this with area, if you want to create some variables that will simplify how this is working. Again, if you wanted to even go in here, right? If you, PEMDAS, we know the multiplying will, but I could put these in parentheses if that's helps you in the way that you think through things, so that you know that this is multiplying my hours times my seconds, this is multiplying my minutes times to get a second, this is just the raw seconds at that point. If that makes more sense with more parentheses, absolutely feel comfortable doing that, just so that you get it to make sense for you. And we will do some more of these challenges later this week. Thanks.